family reaction to the verdict, Jody? Is there anything you want to say to the Alexander family at all?
She loved that camera before, didn't she, y'all? She sure did. I ain't never seen Jody cover up her face for nothing before.
Can you tell me about your plans for what you're going to do behind bars for life?
For life? Can you tell me about your plan of what you're going to do behind bars for life? Bye, Jody. Now, that's just to catch you up to speed. But look, you've probably never seen that video before, huh? The amount of stuff on Jodi Arias is just so crazy. It's so crazy. Like, sure, I could do a mega compilation video on all of this, but you know what? It's so much funner just breaking it up into multiple videos over the course of 3 years whenever I get really excited, okay? I need you to brace yourself for this one. This is a video that comes from Jodi Arias' ex-cellmate, but what she discloses in this video is gonna blow your mind.
Her former cellmate is speaking out, detailing for the first time Jodi Arias' life behind bars.
She's a sociopath.
Tracy Brown was Jodi's cellmate for 5 months, but has a permanent reminder of the killer. 6 tattoos, personally inked by Jodi. One even has her name on it.
That is a personality trait for me, that Jodi, with her cellmate of 5 months, was like, let me ink you up, girl. The tattoo of her own name, absolutely insane. Imagine your tattoo artist suggests getting his name tattooed on you. These are all Jodi. That's right. The skull with horns, fangs, and devil rings over the Celtic armband. But wait, there's more.
How does that make you feel to have her name on your ankle?
That was the biggest mistake I ever made. This is crushed up lead.
Tracy showed me how Jodi used lead from a pencil, mascara, and a makeshift needle to tattoo other inmates. That's how Jodi made extra money in jail, along with selling her original artwork.
Yeah, she's so talented.
Tracy has kept some of her hand-drawn pieces. The ex-cellmate says Jodi flirted with...
Yeah, she used lead in people's bodies and mascara to tattoo people. You know, I never believe random chatters, but for some reason, I believe Rooted here. Rooted said, it's not real lead, it's graphite. Still sounds pretty bad to me, but I'll take that correction. Thank you.
The ex-cellmate says Jodi flirted with correctional officers, which is how she was able to keep all of the prohibited equipment she needed for her tattoos.
There were a couple officers, you know, she would flirt with and fly her hair with, and they would find the tattoo equipment, things you can get in trouble for. Leave it alone.
Tracy Brown says while she and Jodi Arias were cellmates here at the Estrella jail in Phoenix, Arizona, Jodi Arias actually confessed to murder, but claimed her ex-boyfriend was not the intended target.
She went there hoping to find this other woman and kill her. Because she took her place.
Before his murder, Travis Alexander had been dating Lisa Daydone while continuing to secretly have sex with Arias. Tracy says Arias confessed during a quiet moment in their cell.
I'm just watching her, and she kind of goes down to her knees on the floor. And I was looking at her, I said, what are you talking about? And she started crying, just a couple tears coming out of her eyes. And then it was done.
Tracy says Arias also admitted to stalking her ex-boyfriend in his backyard.
She said she would lie awake in bushes and watch him. And if she was ever caught, she would tell him she was there to get her Social Security card.
The ex-cellmate also claims that Jodi...
Also, reminder, Travis he ended things with Jodi several times. Friends and family knew that Jodi was essentially stalking, not even essentially stalking him. Friends and family of Travis knew that she would not give up on this relationship, or it really wasn't even much of a relationship. They met at a random conference. He was Mormon, so he was actually dating another woman, and Jodi had converted to the religion while still having sex with him, which he felt guilty about, so that she could be like, look, I'm part of your religion. We should date now. And like, just nobody was buying it. After the murders, when Jodi was arrested and going to trial, the media reached out to her family. And when they spoke with Jodi's parents, you know what they told the media? Jodi was always a strange kid. There was no, oh, we love our daughter. She would never do this. We're grieving right now. They went to the media and they said that she was weird. Wait.
The ex-cellmate also claims that Jodi Arias has a troubled relationship with her parents, even though they supported her during her trial and appeal.
We love our daughter, we support her, and we stand behind her.
She was so mean
I've
to her
never
mom.
seen this video before in my life. Hold on. I need to go find that article right now where they say she was weird. Jodi Arias' parents. Parents of Jodi Arias said in police interview that their daughter had, quote, mental problems and would freak out all the time. I had quite a few of her friends call me and tell me that I needed to get her some help. I need to find this other one too. Hold on. This other one says, Will Arias told Flores that his daughter was, quote, a strange person. After she left the house, she kind of just got a little strange.
In bushes and watch him. And if she was ever caught, she would tell him she was there to get her social security card.
The ex-cellmate also claims that Jodi Arias has a troubled relationship with her parents, even though they supported her during her trial and appeal.
We love our daughter, we support her, and we stand behind her.
She was so mean to her mom. Coming all the way from California to Arizona, you know, it's a long trip. And there's at times she'll deny their visits because she wants to visit with a guy that she is manipulating.
The friendship between the two
Bitch, that is tea. That is tea that you cannot get anywhere else. Jodi Arias would deny her parents' visitation in order to get visits with guys when her mom would drive all the way from Arizona to California.
There's at times she'll deny their visits because she wants to visit with a guy that she is manipulating.
The friendship between the two ex-cellmates continued for a time, even after Tracy's release. This is one of the many letters Arias wrote to her.
Tracy, how do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height of my soul can reach.
The defendant shall be incarcerated in the
Crazy letter to send somebody that you've known for 5 months.
Department of Corrections for the rest of her natural life.
But after she was given a life sentence in 2015, Jodi Arias was transferred to state prison and abruptly cut off all communication.
You think all this lies?
Garbage. She will use you to get what she wants.
I believe it.
And when she's done with you, she will throw you away.
Man, that girl must have trusted her to let her put all them damn tattoos up and down her arm. Can you guys tell? This is just a collection of extra Jodi Arias media. That's why I was just like, this is a Jodi Arias hate video. I've got one more for you. Okay, so in 2013, a guy named Mark Curtis did an interview with Jodi Arias, and this was while she was still on trial. I actually thought this was after the verdict, but it was still before. Okay, let's take a look.
Regardless of what happens with the jury, you're going to have to deal with the fact for the rest of your days, however long.
Guys, look, I'm a hater, but Jodi is so pretty. Just go anywhere else. Like, do y'all, I always say this in videos, like whenever we're covering a case where the person is like super pretty, I'm like, just go not kill people. Like, follow the rules. You could find a husband. You gonna be fine. Like, you been in jail for like 8 years. You ain't had no makeup, no nothing. You look nice. You look good. Go. Like, you have to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me, bro.
Neck of being a murderer. Regardless of what happens with the jury, you're going to have to deal with the fact for the rest of your days, however long that is, that you killed someone. How hard is that going to be, and how hard is it for you to deal with that?
It makes me feel very ugly inside. And I know that was just one day, but I feel like even though it shouldn't, it's going to define the rest of my life and maybe beyond.
Jodi is upset that killing someone makes her feel ugly inside, and that the murder is going to define her life forever, even though it was, quote, just one day. That's how Jodi Arias sees this murder.
So it's very difficult. It's something that I haven't processed, or I haven't really dealt with, or it's something that's difficult to face even still. So it's something I'm going to be trying to process probably till my last day.
Do you think the time will come when you can forgive yourself for what you did?
I think I may get there.
You've talked about spirituality a lot. and you've said you've prayed for the jury. Are you a religious person?
I have never heard anything as manipulative in a court case as I'm praying for the jury. That's up there. That is up there, baby. It's up there because she said it in the press. She said it in the press.
I'm not deeply religious at this point. I still consider myself spiritual.
Do you believe in heaven and hell?
Yes.
And if you do believe in heaven and hell, where do you think you're going? And can you deal with, if you think you're going to hell, can you deal with that? Or do you not think you would be going there?
I don't know if I believe in hell in the traditional sense that a lot of people do. I do believe that I believe in forgiveness, and I believe in mercy, and I believe in second chances.
Dude, this is so corny of me, but Scotsman said she's religious when it suits her. And yeah, she is. You guys know, a lot of you guys know, I grew up in the church. I don't follow the religion anymore, but like, you know, I still have a bit of reverence for it. But one thing that I do not like is I do not like bad Christians. Half the reason that Christianity has bad taste in my mouth is because of motherfuckers like this. They want to wear religion and Christianity and purity as a mask to get what they want and actively deceive people in day to day as though their character is so good and kind and Christian so that they can go do bad things. There are people that will show up in the church and smile in your face every day because it's easy. It's easy to be in that location at a certain time. She's being a fake nice person to get something from you, which is she wants you to buy her story so she can have her freedom.
I do believe that going to heaven, or the opposite of what hell would be, is something that needs to be earned.
Can you then, in your final days on this earth, earn that, do you think? Do you believe in redemption?
Well, when I say earned, I should probably clarify. I think that grace comes in, and there's no way.
Holy. He asked her if she can earn her redemption by her final days on earth. That requires Jody to be fully in control of being a good person and doing things to earn the forgiveness. But instead, her response is, well, one facet of that is grace, which requires you. She's taking all of the responsibility and all of the activity that needs to be done to earn that off of herself and saying, well, I can't do it without your grace. She ain't gonna do shit. She ain't gonna do shit to earn that redemption. She just wants you to forgive her.
Can you then, in your final days on this earth, earn that, do you think? Do you believe in redemption?
Well, when I say earned, I should probably clarify. I think that grace comes in, and there's no way that I could possibly make up entirely for what I've done. So all I can do is do what I can, and the idea is that grace fulfills the rest. Makes up for the rest.
Do you think when we're talking about forgiveness that Travis's family will ever forgive you?
It's hard to imagine that they will.
No, because after she murdered him because he was trying to get away from her, in his death, she called him a pedophile and an abuser. There was no history, no record of this. Instead, Jody preyed on people that had been abused as children or had dealt with pedophiles or violent relationships. And she preyed on people's sympathy that have actually been through those things to call the man that she murdered the worst possible things in death. Travis's family will never forgive her. They will never, ever, ever forgive her.
Would. I hope that they're able to someday. I don't know what their religious beliefs are. But I know that Christian-based faiths and the Mormon faith, which Travis was Mormon, I'm baptized Mormon, it's required that we forgive in order to be forgiven. So I also read once a church authority had said that sometimes when you're so angry, you're not able to forgive, that it's enough to ask for the grace to be able to one day forgive, even if you can't get there. I don't even know if they're at that point. I wouldn't expect them to be.
Part of my interview last night with Jodi Arias talking about redemption and remorse and her hopes that one day Travis Alexander's family can find a way to forgive her. They certainly haven't done it yet. They want justice here at this courthouse.
Well, they were about to get it because Jodi, God. And then, guys, get this. There's like, as I'm looking at this video, there are 6 other Jodi Arias interviews I've never seen. One-on-one interview with Jodi Arias's lawyer, Jodi Arias interview with ABC, Jodi Arias interview with Amy Murphy, like Jodi Arias confident interview, Jodi Arias childhood best friend speak. I'll never run out. I'll never ever run out. But speak of the devil is Jodi. Juan Martinez answers questions about murderer Jodi Arias. If you guys didn't know, Juan Martinez was the prosecutor that put Jodi Arias away. And if you haven't seen that video, whether it's my video or the full video, you gotta see it because I really have to say, Juan Martinez did beautiful work putting Jodi away because that girl was not going down easy. She really wasn't. Now, some people have a bad taste in their mouth over Juan Martinez because years later he was disbarred because somebody said that he was flirting around the office and trying to talk to girls or something. There's some, controversy with that, with one person saying that like some past lawyer was trying to get him disbarred because they didn't like him because he was too intense. Some people say that it's not necessarily true. Some people say it's 100% true. But I wanted to let you guys know that before we watch a little of the interview because at the end of the day, personally, I love good prosecution. I love people putting in the work on their legal team. And Juan Martinez really put in the work when he put Jodi Arias away. So I do want to see a little of this interview where he talks about how he cornered her when she was ready to take the stand and lie about anything and everything. Let's give it a shot. Okay, so I guess this is kind of about his book, but it has some information, like these little chapters here. One of them says, how did you use the gas cans to corner Jodi Arias? And then what was Jodi's reaction? Tell us about the secret messages Jodi wrote from her jail cell. Give me the smoke.
Everyone had already seen
Can you guys hear it okay?
in court. But as with everything else, there's another part to the story, and that part was what I had brought to the courtroom. There were many decisions that I undertook, and I thought that it would be interesting to people who had actually watched the trial to find out what it was that I was thinking when I did these things.
Okay.
For example, why is it that I included some things in opening statement and not other things? For example, the gas cans, I kept them out of the opening statement, even though they were obviously very beneficial.
I don't know about the gas cans. What are the gas cans? Also, if you have not seen it before, Juan Martinez's opening statements is one of the best that I have seen in a while. It's for sure in my top 3 of all time. It was captivating. It had a good timeline. It was vicious. And it let Jodi know from the beginning when she was going to take the stand that she was not getting off easy and she better be ready to put up a fucking fight. It was good. It was really good.
After Jodi Arias claimed that she had been attacked by Travis and that she had been forced to kill him in self-defense, I started looking through the rest of the documents that I had, and I came across a report that indicated that she had called an ex-boyfriend shortly before the trip, asking to borrow 2 gas cans. It seemed an innocuous enough request, but to me, it seemed that California has enough gas stations so that carrying or wanting to borrow gas cans seemed to have another meaning to it, or have another purpose for her. As I looked further into the case, I came across a Walmart receipt. In that Walmart receipt, I was able to find that she had actually bought a 3rd gas can, so that at her disposal, she had 3 5-gallon gas cans for a total of 15 gallons. As I looked further into the case, I realized that the reason that she wanted this extra gasoline, this extra 15 gallons, was so that she could make her way through the Arizona desert from California without having to stop at a gas station, so there would be no record of her ever being here in Arizona.
That is crazy. Jody turned off her cell phone when she drove up there to kill Travis. Yet people get caught when they stop at gas stations for gas. So her plan was to have these gas cans so she can make it there and back and no one would know. This is good legal work. And he was in there. This man, the way he's recounting it, he didn't just have paralegals doing it. He was up in there, okay?
No videotape, and there would be no receipts because she had the gasoline that she needed to make the trip.
Oh, wow. Wow!
When I confronted her
Oh my God!
with the 2 gas cans that she had borrowed from the ex-boyfriend, she had already heard the ex-boyfriend testify and tell me that he had lent her those 2 gas cans. So she had some time to prepare an answer for that. What she didn't know was that I had already gone and checked with Walmart and found that she had actually borrowed a 3rd gas can. So at the latest opportunity, when she was still testifying, I asked her, why is it then that if you claim that you only had 2 gas cans, why is it that you filled up 3 gas cans in Salt Lake City?
So Jody Arias testified. She took the stand in her own trial because she really thought that she was going to convince people she didn't do it. So what Juan is saying here is Jody knew that they were going to ask about the 2 gas cans, but she didn't think that they knew that she bought a 3rd one at Walmart. So he didn't ask her until she was on the stand towards the end.
Why is it that you filled up 3 gas cans in Salt Lake City? In her face, for probably the only time throughout the trial, there was a look that indicated that she was caught, that somehow she finally, for one thing, didn't have an answer. After a pause, she then sort of turned, answered my question and said, well, I was never in Salt Lake City, which I knew wasn't true because I had the receipts to prove it.
Oh, tell us about the secret messages
In
Jody wrote for
anticipation
herself.
of a hearing that we had to determine whether or not the letters that had been provided to me by defense counsel indicating or supporting her self-defense claim, I was at the jail and I was sitting there with a officer. And as I sat there, I noticed that one of the people that visited her often was coming in. Arias immediately asked the guard to transfer or give her 2 magazines. And looking through the magazines, the jailers were able to see that in some of the creases, there were some messages. And those messages were directed to somebody on the outside, indicating that they had, there's an expletive, indicating that they had messed up and that they needed to come and see her immediately so they could get this thing straightened out, because he or she contradicted whatever story Arias had been telling for the past year.
What? So she was sending people messages through magazines and like threatening them? This is about the gas cans. This is that moment we just talked about where he pushes her on it.
I purchased it. Starbucks is in the same parking lot. I think I went there and then I returned it after that.
So this guy is Jody's defense.
You returned that gas can the same day?
Yes, right after Starbucks. I think they just handed me cash or something. I might have gotten a receipt. I don't remember. I got the two gas cans that I took on that trip. I got from Daryl, and then I bought the 3rd one, and then I determined I didn't need it, and I returned it. I had a 3rd can when I originally purchased one in Salinas. I returned it before leaving Salinas. First, I didn't have 3 gas cans. I believe we were discussing a hypothetical if I had 3 gas cans. I only had 2 anyway, so there were never 3 on that trip. I only had 2 gas cans with me.
I like how she's admitting to having the 2 gas cans, but like, why, right? Like, she's not saying why. And the reason that Juan provides makes so much sense.
And one of the things that you told us was that you're going to tell the truth, the whole truth throughout this proceeding. Do you remember that when you took the oath?
Yes, to the best of my recollection.
Am I asking you to the best of your recollection that you took the oath, ma'am?
Judge.
Ma'am, do you remember standing in front of the clerk to Judge Stevens' left and being sworn in. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And do you remember being asked to tell the truth, the whole truth? Do you remember being told that?
Oh my God,
Yes.
And you swore that you would, right?
Yes.
So why is it then? Why is it then, ma'am, that you showed up with 3 gas cans in Salt Lake City?
To answer the gas can question, I went to Mesa with 2 gas cans.
Ma'am, if you take this amount per gallon, $3.859, $3.859 per gallon, and you divide it into this amount of $19.65, do you know what that division would indicate?
No.
Would it surprise you that it would indicate that it's 5.09? Would that surprise you?
No.
So, you make 3 purchases here, don't you?
Oh my God.
Yes.
There are 2 purchases.
Bitch, do you see now why I said that Juan Martinez was eating down this trial? It's his approach. Like, he's not playing with her, and I love it. I love it. I love it, okay? Listen, I know some people are like, we don't like him because he was disbarred, okay? We're not talking about the person. We're talking about, did he do his job that day? This job was done. He brought the math out.
3 purchases. So, you make 3 purchases here, don't you?
Yes.
There are 2 purchases for sure that we know that are for gas, right?
That's correct.
The other one is for $19.65, right?
Yes.
If we do the mathematics, that equals 5 gallons of gas. If you were putting gas.
Objection argumentative is there's no testimony that it was gas purchased.
Would it surprise you to find that on that, and you said that you got a refund in cash, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Would it surprise you that Walmart does not have any record of any refund for a gas can on that date of June 3rd of 2008?
Considering that I returned it, that would surprise me. My name is Amanda Webb. I work for Walmart.
Oh my
Okay.
Help me! Oh no! All right, let it play.
My name is Amanda Webb. I work for Walmart.
Bring it, Amanda.
And which Walmart do you work for?
I work for the store in Salinas, 2458. It's on North Main Street.
And are you also familiar with the...
Now remember, that is the Walmart that she bought the gas cans from, because that's what the receipt says. She would essentially return it to the same Walmart, okay? So here's the employee. Amanda?
procedure or the process.
It's on North Main Street.
And are you also familiar with the procedure or the process involved in a return of merchandise from Walmart?
Yes.
You recognize this as a Walmart receipt?
I do.
And is this a receipt that was issued by the store that you're currently working in?
It is, yes.
And if we look down here, for example, this 5G, which is, let's assume 5 gallons, there's a bunch of numbers here. Is that the SKU number that we're talking about?
That is the SKU number, yes.
Yep.
Once they match those up, they'll have some sort of documentation on that paper on the receipt, the original receipt that the customer actually retains after. Generally, they cross out the item that they have been returning or circle it, and they always put it like an initial next to that.
When looking at this exhibit that we're talking about, exhibit 237.008, based on this particular process that you're talking about, since nothing's crossed out, circled, or there's no initials, was anything refunded involving this?
I would say no.
All right.
There is human error, but I would say no.
So then what happens?
At that point, they will process it through the computer system, and the customer will get their money. They have to sign another sheet of paper with their signature on it, and they'll get their original receipt back with the documentation that item's been returned. And we do that so that they can't go with the same item to another store and return it again.
Did you check each and every single cash register, including the ones that don't normally give refunds, to see what refunds were given on that particular day?
Yes.
Was that returned at this terminal number 3?
No.
How about this one, number 4 at the top? Were there any returns there?
There was not.
Number 5, was anything returned there?
No, there was nothing returned.
Register 76?
No.
Register 77, any return?
Bitch, Jody said, oh, I didn't have that because I returned it. And Juan said, okay. I'm gonna bring in a Walmart employee and all of the receipts from the entire business that day, including yours. Someone in chat said a minute ago that half of being a lawyer seems like it's just being petty, and I maybe that's what it is to be a good attorney. I would love to have a petty attorney. I want you to be so petty that I need to know what happened in your childhood, okay? I love petty men. I love dramatic men. I'm like, yes, bring it. Bring the drama, sir. I love it.
Turns on that one.
No, there was nothing returned.
Does anybody else love petty men? Like when you're talking to a guy and you know that like he wants to hear the drama, or like he says something sometimes that you're like, oh, you're different. I love
Register 76?
No.
Register 77. Any returns on that one?
No.
So after your review of all of the registers, after your review of whatever computer's work may have been done there, and after a review of Exhibit 237.008, was this 5-gallon can, and now known as a can, gas, was it ever returned for a refund on June 3rd of 2008?
It was not, and I actually researched that SKU number specifically for about a week.
And even during that week and a half from June 3rd to when you found this item being purchased, did you ever find any indication whatsoever in the records that this item had ever been refunded ever at the Salinas store?
Not in the time frame I searched it, no, it had not been refunded.
So what they are saying is when you purchase something, you know, the barcode, the long number on it, that's an SKU number. She's saying that I searched this entire product number in our entire store, in our database, and this product has not been returned. No one has ever returned this gas can, or like in the last couple of weeks or months. It hasn't happened. Like, Jody, like, and this is such an important moment because he is proving that Jody is a liar and willing to lie on the stand. And damn, now I'm still thinking hard about what that girl said earlier. I think Jody was trying to date that cellmate.
Records that this item had ever been refunded ever at the Salinas store?
Not in the time frame I searched it, no, it had not been refunded.
I don't have any other questions.
Cross-examination.
Oh, what's Jody's attorney gonna do? How is he gonna?
Your name, please?
Chelsea Young,
And who do you work for?
Tesoro.
What do you do for them?
Arm day, bitch. Go off. Go off, dude. I want to see a scene where she fights Laura Croft, okay?
Data.
And who do you work for?
Tesoro.
What do you do for them?
The record keeping, accounting data, credit card data, every kind of sale that happens inside and outside the store. We have records of every transaction inside and outside at every station.
What is the date that this says?
Oh my God. Dova said, didn't check them guns at the door, I see. Before she came in the courtroom. Bro, shut up.
That this
inside and outside at every station.
What is the date that this says that this transaction was approved?
June 6, 2008.
And the individual whose card was involved?
Jody Arias.
And the last 4 digits of the card she used was what?
2015.
If we then compare it to this 237.016, do we see a cashier here or not?
No, this is because it has the driver ID that indicates that it was done out at the pump.
And they're both for gasoline, correct?
Correct.
This is what I'm talking about. Juan Martinez did the work. Otherwise, I think there's a strong chance that Jody Arias would walk amongst us today. I do. Let me go back to that. So before I play this, okay, Juan has caught Jody in a lie, and he has calculated how much gas she bought to prove that she had multiple gas cans and her car to fill up, basically. Now, they couldn't dispute this, so eventually her attorney speaks up and says, well, she bought stuff at a gas station. How do you know that's gas? There's no proof that she was buying gas. Here you go. Dude, this is some of the best work I've seen in a while. So this woman is an attendant at the gas station, I believe. Okay, here we go.
Tesoro.
What is your name, please?
Chelsea Young. Accounting data. I have records of every transaction inside and outside at every station.
What is the date that this says that
accountant,
this transaction was approved?
June 6, 2008.
And the individual whose card was involved?
Jody Arias.
And the last 4 digits of the card she used was what?
2015.
If we then compare it to this 237.016, do we see a cashier here or not?
No, this is because it has the driver ID that indicates that it was done out at the pump.
And they're both for gasoline, correct?
Correct.
Ma'am, did you also have a chance to see whether or not there was a...
He just proved that the card that was used to purchase something that day was used at the pump. She was buying gas. You don't buy M&Ms at the pump, okay? You don't buy a Coca-Cola at the pump. You don't pay $10 over and then go in there and pick up your Coca-Cola. You buy gas from the machine. So that's how, dude, wow, God, that is so good. I love this so much because I want somebody in the legal system to fight for people that deserve it or put bad people away this hard. That is amazing.
Done out at the pump.
It is good to be back, Kate.
And they're both for gasoline, correct?
Correct.
Ma'am, did you also have a chance to see whether or not there was a third transaction that was involved with this Tesoro?
Yes, we did find a third transaction.
Was it the same credit card that was being used here, the one that ended at 2015?
It was the same credit card.
And how much gas was purchased?
It's 5 gallons.
And what was the amount?
$19.65.
So in this case, how many transactions for gas was there?
3.
And there was initially, how many gallons of gas were purchased?
10 gallons. 10.672 gallons.
672. And then the next one was 5 gallons, correct?
Correct.
Or approximately. And then the last one under 237.017 was how many gallons?
9.583.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Cross-examination.
So if someone wanted to make a cash transaction.
Dude, Juan was prepared for that argument, and God, that was beautiful. Now, he has to come up here and try to dispute it when he wasn't expecting this at all. He had to come up with it on the fly while he was sitting in his little chair over here. So let's see what he comes up with.
Examination.
So if someone wanted to make a cash transaction, the transaction wouldn't contain their name, credit card number, and the time they did it, would it?
No, it would not.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay, really trying with the reasonable doubt there. That was good. Wait, chat, can we agree that for the cross, like that was good. He gave what he had. No, he tried. He gave what he had. Cause you can't dispute what Juan just said. You can't. But run it back. God damn it, y'all. No more running it back today. But these are such pivotal moments. I'll do it for you.
I don't have any other questions. Thank you.
Cross-examination.
So if someone wanted to make a cash transaction, the transaction wouldn't contain their name, credit card number, and the time they did it, would it?
No, it would not.
Thank you, ma'am.
But in this case, we have the transaction that took place inside the store as set out in Exhibit 237.017. Was that cash or was that credit?
This was credit.
And was it for items such as potato chips or other items like that, or was it for gas?
It was for gas.
And how much gas was purchased by Jody Arias on June 6th of 2008 at 4:05 inside of this store?
Objection, Johnson.
I'm gonna cry.
What is the purchase amount?
Objection,
What's the amount that was paid on this credit transaction?
The question was approved.
$36.98.
I don't have any other questions.
God, we might have to just have a Saturday where we just cuddle up and watch the whole trial. It was good work. Let's watch a little bit more from his interview about his book, because I did think that was very interesting, but I don't think I want to do the full 20 minutes. Let's see what else is in here. Okay, what was your initial theory based on your first look at the crime scene? Juan, give it to us.
My on-call shift had already been completed at 8 o'clock in the morning when I received a call later that morning at 8:30. And it was a sergeant from the Mesa Police Department telling me that they had found the body of this individual. And the only thing he really knew was that the individual's name was Travis Alexander. Rather than shirk this call onto the next individual, I decided to take the call. And I went out to East Mesa. When I was allowed inside after the scene had been secured, one of the things that caught my attention, and that I guess the word is impressed, was that it was very clean and meticulous downstairs. But I did get upstairs, and when I did get upstairs, I was able to see that in the bathroom, there had been a horrific event that had taken place. At that point, I didn't know exactly what had happened, but one of the things that I did know was that it was throughout the bathroom. The blood was on the floor. It was...
I cannot believe that he was on the crime, at the crime scene. That is crazy.
Streaked on the walls, and Mr. Alexander had been stuffed into the shower. In looking at that, it appeared that whoever had done this was someone who was very angry and very upset, but they also had thought this thing through because they had actually taken time to clean things up. So even though there was a lot of blood, and even though there was plenty of violence, it spoke to a calculated, kind of thought out killing, where the individual had been methodical in their approach to ending Travis Alexander's life. I never get calloused to the violence that I see, and it's almost on a day-to-day basis, and that's why I continue to work at the same place that I have been for the past 20
Okay,
years.
this next part is, what was the most damning piece of evidence? I think it might be, it's gotta be, it's the camera, right, chat? Do you guys think it's the camera, or it's gonna be something else? It's gotta be the camera. It's gotta be, but I wanna hear what he thinks of it.
One of the most damning pieces of evidence was the camera. It was found by police in the washing machine. It had actually gone through the wash cycle and had been left behind. There was also bleach that had been added to the cycle when it was started. And in that camera, what police were able to find were a number or sets of photographs. There were actually 3 sets of photographs. The first set showed areas and Mr. Alexander engaged in sexual activity. And it showed that the activity was on June 4th of 2008. And Arias, of course, claimed that she hadn't even been there on that particular date. So the police then knew that she was not telling the truth as to whether or not she was there on the day that he was murdered. But that was early in the afternoon. That was around 1:30 in the afternoon. The police were also able to find another set of photographs showing Travis Alexander in the shower. That was closer to the murder. That was around 5:30 in the afternoon, but not exactly at the time of the murder. The third set of photographs the police were able to uncover were 3 accidental or inadvertent photographs.
Wow.
Arias had been holding the camera, and at some point during the attack, the camera had dropped. And when it dropped, and it hit the button so that a photograph was accidentally snapped, and it showed Arias' foot. It showed Mr. Alexander's head as the blood streamed down his right shoulder. And
Isn't that crazy? And Jody never intended to take photos of him as he was dying. She just was pretending to take photos of him in the shower. But when she threw that camera in the washing machine, I don't even think that she knew those pictures of him being killed were on the camera. But she threw it in the wash with bleach and thought that it was good to go. But that memory card was locked in. It survived the wash.
It appeared that Arias was attempting to move him down the hallway. There's another inadvertent photograph that was also taken, and that is Arias walking him, not walking him, but Arias pulling the body down the hallway. So that is really the piece of evidence that, if one wants to call it a mistake, that Arias made a mistake in leaving that behind.
Okay, I want to skip ahead a little bit to this one. It says, what was your strategy for dealing with Jody in court? I don't know.
One of the most difficult things about the trial was the questioning of Jody Arias during the cross-examination. And early on, I made the decision that I was going to not let her control the courtroom as she had the media previously, where she had put out her story about
She was controlling
not
the
having
media.
killed Travis and no jury would convict her, and then continuing to talk to the media. Even
Jody did a really good job of talking to the media, but she was not likable. You know, some of you might have been super young. I think I was like a teenager, like super young. But I remember this, and I do not remember the public being on her side at all. It's kind of like Casey Anthony. You know, the public did not like Casey Anthony. The public did not like Jody Arias. They didn't believe her, you know?
After the case had already been filed. So one of the ways that I decided that I was going to control her or control the questioning, because it's difficult to control a witness, is by making my questions very direct. And if I needed to, perhaps appear to be harsh. Had I not done that, she would have, in effect, told her story a second time if I had just asked her questions in an open-ended sort of fashion.
So true.
And of course, at that point, she would have said whatever the story was that she was going to give. So I needed to do that. It wasn't a situation where I wanted to do it. It was more of a thing that it needed to be done.
Wow.
And I knew that if I did that she was going to become somewhat combative. So I was prepared for that. And she was combative at points, relying on a tried and
predicting the witness's behavior accurately. Like I can't, like you can't beat it. You can't beat it.
true combative at points, relying on a tried and true excuse that she couldn't remember. That was one of the things that she said. Another one was that I had done something to her brain. And another of the excuses that she gave for not answering questions was that somehow there had been a fog that had set in. So any of those were fodder for her.
Can you fucking imagine you ask somebody a question and they say, I'm sorry, some sort of fog has just set in. He's so mad.
She used them to try to thwart to thwart my cross-examination. But in the end, it came across that she was somebody who just didn't want to answer the question.
Okay, hold on. This is interesting to me. This one says, why do you like to work alone? It really does sound like he put a lot of this case on his back. I want to see what he says about this.
I work alone because that allows me to take a look at every part of the evidence and be responsible for every part of the items that are going to be presented. And for me, what that does is that allows me to make a more cohesive presentation to the jury. The jury gets used to my style, gets used to the tone of my voice. Clearly, they come in and they don't know what to expect. So if they hear, for example, that I'm being aggressive with somebody or assertive with somebody, it's something that they learn that it's not because I'm trying to be abusive, it's not that I'm trying to be hostile, it's just that I'm trying to move things along and I want to perhaps save them some time. And I think that by working alone and being in front of them all the time, that juries and those that watch come to understand that the positions that I take and the comments that I make are made out of sincerity. They are not made just to pontificate or to present a facade as part of the prosecution. It is just that they get to know that I'm a sincere individual, and the questions that are being presented and the evidence that's being put forward for them to consider are important. And I think that the juries, by and large, and I think that judges have learned to appreciate. And so working alone allows me to move the case along quicker and allows me to, if possible, form some sort of bond, which might be too strong of a word, but at least have the jury be able to rely on something. And that's me presenting the case on a day-to-day basis.
Man, look, hey, look, I gave y'all the caveat in the beginning of the video, but I cannot deny. It sounds like good legal work to me, and I appreciate it.
So Donald Trump, as you know, was at an appeals court hearing to try and overturn the E. Jean Carroll ruling. Incidentally, if you don't remember what that ruling is, it was a civil case of defamation that E. Jean Carroll brought against Donald Trump. Part of that civil case was a determination by the judge and the jury, I think, that Donald Trump had, in fact, raped E. Jean Carroll. And now there is a different standard of guilt that is applied in a civil case. But the court found that it was proved at the standard of a civil case as opposed to a criminal case. Criminal case is very difficult, beyond no reasonable doubt. In this instance, he was found guilty and then had to pay E. Jean Carroll a bunch of money, which of course he hasn't as of yet. And then he decides to do a press conference afterwards and brings up another instance of a woman who accused him of sexual assault. And he uses when I sexually assault somebody, I am very specific as to who I want to sexually assault. And she would not been one of them. But listen to the way he refers to it. I mean, this is just completely unhinged. And watch the lawyers' faces behind him.
Now, there were two witnesses. One is a woman who's followed me for years. She said in 1979, I was in an airplane with her, commercial flight, and we became very intimate. I just sat down. I think I had the book, The Art of the Deal. I was famous then, too. I've been famous for a long time. And we're sitting in first class, according to her. Never happened, by the way. Totally made up story. She's a Clinton person, too, by the way. Big Clinton person. She made up the story.
All right, I'm sorry. I just need to... So she's a Clinton person. We were just talking about 2016. Do you remember when Trump brought out all of the accusers of Bill Clinton on...
Speaking of Clinton people.
who were, some of them were Trump supporters at the end of the day.
Money to Broderick this week.
But none of us are coming out there and saying, oh, that never happened. Like, Clinton, we know, was somebody who was credibly accused of sexual misconduct repeatedly. We're not coming out there and, like, besmirching their accusations based on their politics. But Trump, who did the exact same thing to his opponent in 2016, is now bitching about this about himself. But anyway.
By the way, big Clinton person. She made up the story. And so many years ago, and I think it would be 1979, one of my many people behind me could correct it, but I think she said 1979, that's a long time ago. And I sat down. I believe I had some pretty big success then, and I was being talked about a lot. Maybe The Art of the Deal was out, sometime after that, I'm not sure. But I was well known. And passengers are coming into the plane. And she said I was making out with her. And then, after 15 minutes, and then she changed her story a couple of times. Maybe it was quicker. That I grabbed her at a certain part, and that was when she had enough. Now, so think of the impracticality of this. I'm famous. I'm in a plane. People are coming into the plane. and I'm looking at a woman and I grab her and I start kissing her and making out with her, what are the chances of that happening? What are the chances? And frankly, I know you're going to say it's a terrible thing to say, but it couldn't have happened. It didn't happen. And she would not have been the chosen one. She would not have been the chosen one. She has gone around for years saying the story. Everywhere I go, she says it.
Pause it. I just want to, like, make it clear what he's saying. That if I'm going to sexually assault someone, hey, it's a great honor. But she would not have been the chosen one. The one I chose to sexually assault. She wouldn't have been it.
With the picture out of a lineup. He said this version of this about E. Jean Carroll.
Yes.
She's not my type. Right. You mean the blonde woman is not your type?
The chosen one. The chosen one. I don't refer to, not even, just the chosen one. Have I deigned to touch you with my wand? That's not the way I touch with my wand.
Oh, well,
No.
I don't want a demonstration.
Oh, God. Go
I
ahead.
don't want a demonstration.
Years saying this story. Everywhere I go, she says this story. And it's a total lie. Now, I assume she'll sue me now for defamation like I got sued by E. Jean Carroll.
Yeah.
Gene, this is great, too. J.D. Vance missing chin says she's been saying this for years is not the defense he thinks it is. She's been completely consistent making this accusation for years and years, which proves it's a lie.
And just to clarify some of what Trump said as well, Jessica Leeds, the woman who has made this allegation, has always said that this was sometime in the late 1970s. The Art of the Deal, which he's saying was presumably being published around the same time, did not come out if we're saying 1979 is the latest of the 1970s, for at least 8 years. Well, the Art of the Deal came out in 1987.
Right. Even still, Stephen, even still, she still wouldn't have been the chosen.
I was writing books.
The way he dehumanizes women just so casually is just incredible. I mean, he wouldn't have chosen to sexually assault her because he, the godlike figure, did not make the determination that she would be the one that he would touch. And
You gotta cross the bar for me to assault you.
Exactly.
That's just what it is. I only assault 8s and above. That's it. I only assault 8s and above.
he should go into more detail about this in the debate.
She's like a 6.
He should do
or
more details about his grading scale for women.
Yeah.
If you're double D, I knock you up 1.5 points.
Like my daughter. She's a 9.
Yeah, we all know how I feel about that.
The absolute insanity that Donald Trump is now like on the, out there talking about is astonishing. I mean, just sort of like lie after lie after lie. This is, it's their caravan stuff, but I don't know. I honestly, I don't know if this helps Trump at all. I don't know that it hurts him either, frankly, because so much of what people think about Donald Trump is completely baked in. And he is a very well-known commodity. Does this drive more voters out? I don't know. Here is Donald Trump. This is number 5. He is saying this, incidentally. This is from Saturday. 2 days after kid goes and shoots up a school in Georgia. Talking about the danger in schools, ladies and gentlemen, but it's not getting shot at. No, in fact, it is from spontaneous surgeries that are taking place in schools.
In the nurse's office.
With kids, yes.
Kamala supports states being able to take minor children and perform sex change operation, take them away from their parents, perform sex change operation, and send
Pause it. Just to be clear, there is no state, there is no proposal. The only regulations and difference in states is whether parents, in conjunction with their children, after extensive consultation, visits, therapies with doctors, are allowed to start any type of trans health care. It is just a total lie that states are coming in and taking children away from their parents and performing any type of trans care on this. It's just absurd. It's just absurd, but they believe it. 99.9% of the people in this audience believe it.
It feels true.
Go back a little bit, and then I'll take it from there.
So that's nice. Kamala supports states being able to take minor children and perform sex change operation, take them away from their parents, perform sex change operation, and send them back home. Can you imagine you're a parent and your son leaves the house and you say, Jimmy, I love you so much, go have a good day in school, and your son comes back with a brutal operation. Can you even imagine this? What the hell is wrong with our country? Her running mate, Tampon Tim.
Tampon. Okay.
Yeah, that's...
Did you see he signed a bill where tampons will be in every boy's bathroom?
Nope.
It's not nice. And he's a whack job.
Can you pause it? Honestly. So, Sam, you have sisters, right? It's honestly incredible that you still identify as a man, given the fact that, have you been in the same bathroom growing up as tampons?
And I have a daughter, too, actually.
Whoa.
And I probably should just air this out. I have actually purchased tampons. And despite the fact that I have purchased tampons on multiple occasions, I have handled them walking up to the counter and carried them home.
Without gloves?
Without gloves, with my bare hands. There's even been occasions where I think I have individually handed tampons to individuals in my life over the years. And despite the close proximity I have had to these tampons, I have never used them.
Did you guys know that I actually...
For their stated purpose.
There are tampons somewhere in this office, like maybe in my locker I have them as a backup, right? I probably should have notified you guys about this before, and the HR department, that this office may have been at some point in proximity to certain tampons.
What has happened to the Democrats?
They call you Tampon Sam. Also, as you're saying, it's just incredibly insane that he's giving this elaborate brutality scenario about what would happen to your kids if they go to school within 48 hours of a school shooting. And also, trans surgeries for minors are exceedingly rare regardless, and when they happen, they're with parental consent. And it's not just like you wake up one day, you go to school, the kid gets kidnapped, has trans-affirming care surgery. It's after years and years of hormone therapy to get to that point, in the rare instances that there is trans-affirming surgery and for people under 18. What they're all hung up about is the fact that California and other blue states are trying to implement protections for children who are trans in schools, where the parents are not supportive, essentially, where schools can recognize, say, the child's preferred pronouns without parents having to freeze down their
the pronouns. If you do that, then cats and dogs raining from the skies. Cats and cats, dogs and dogs.
Yeah.
Trump wasn't just espousing the lie of tampon Pim or tampon Tim or whatever he's saying, or the idea. He's also now pushing this lie of like, Colorado's not taken over by Venezuelan gangs. This is exactly what he does every time he's run. MS-13, the Caravan. I'm sure some of these Mexicans who are coming across as rapists are nice people. This is what the right does. They will take a story off of the local news. They will twist it. We see this now with Charlie Kirk, and I can imagine every other right-wing show right now is talking about how Haitian immigrants are eating people's pets.
Or the Venezuelan crime gang taking over
this clip is.
Yeah.
They will do this over and over again. They will take a story. In the Haitian pet story, it actually was a woman who, they don't even know if it's Haitian, was black, has been voting for at least 6 years in this country, so not an immigrant. Killed a cat, supposedly was eating it at night, like raw or something. Clearly, someone who's probably having some type of mental break, whether it was drug associated or not, we don't know. That then spins into Haitian immigrants who've moved into a town in Ohio, because there has been an influx of Haitian immigrants. We've had a lot of political turmoil there. We have natural disasters. Are now eating people's pets because of a vague report that maybe one person killed a duck. Incidentally, duck is like people kill ducks. People I've never been to a farm where they raise ducks for killing ducks, but they do. But this is, and then it becomes comes into some type of phenomena. This is all coming from one video of a gang in completely dilapidated housing run by a slumlord where all of the tenants have come out and said bed bugs, rats, complete structure falling apart. And one person sees a video of 5 guys in a gang, and then all of a sudden it's like Venezuelan gangs have taken over all these things, when it's really about the landlord who's an absentee slumlord, who doesn't want to put money in there, and he's looking for an excuse as to why all of the tenants are coming out and doing protests and press conferences saying this absentee slumlord is basically screwing us all over. Here's Donald Trump, and picks it up.
Radicals headed up by a radical governor in Colorado that has no clue how to solve this influx of crime into his state. And by the way, Colorado's one state. It's much worse in other states. But in Colorado, they've taken over. I mean, in Colorado, they're so brazen, they've taken over sections of the state. And, getting them out will be a bloody story. Should have never been allowed to come into our country. Nobody checked them. Nobody checked. Were they criminals? Were they from jails? We have them pouring out from jails. We have the worst criminals in all of these countries. 168 so far are registered, 168 countries. They're in our country, and they said, if you come back, you will be executed. You will be killed immediately. Not going to be easy, but we'll do it. But they have no clue how to solve their influx of crime in Colorado or anywhere else. But far more importantly,
all right, we don't need to hear any more of the, I mean, this is what you're going to see, constant stuff like this. The right is going to trumpet, is going to walk this. There's one beat cop in New York City who is quoted in a New York Post piece claiming that 75% of crime in Midtown Manhattan are immigrants. One cop. The New York Post reports it, and then every other right-wing outfit posts it as if it's a fact. There is no data to support this. Crime is down precipitously in New York. August was one of the sort of like the least killings, least shootings. I mean, just crime is down significantly from where it's been for the last 20 years. Significantly less crime than there was 25 years ago. And, the irony is people say that it was because of Rudy Giuliani. Actually, when you include Rudy Giuliani in that, crime is up this year.
Just on his alone.
On him alone. But the fact is, you're going to see, I have no doubt in my mind, that if Tim Pool or Steven Crowder or Dave Rubin is doing a show right now, they are talking about Venezuelan gangs and Haitians eating your pets. This is what xenophobia and racism look like. They will find anything to hang their hats on it, and just be alert. These stories are going to be fake.
It's been this way in 2018 when I was going to those Trump events. I would ask them what their number one issue was, and it was always the caravan, the caravan, the caravan, the caravan, the migrants coming over on this caravan. And what do you know? As soon as the midterms were over, no one gave a crap about the caravan. No one was talking about the caravan. In fact, said caravan just evaporated into thin air. And they're doing the exact same playbook. And it's just like we have to do this every single time to combat this, where people feel like, okay, this explodes, right? The New York Post puts it everywhere. It's definitionally a moral panic that the right just rides through on top of, I guess. And then there are people that fall for it every single time, and you have to go like, okay, let's walk this back. Where did this originate from? So it's a good, as I've been saying about this entire story about the Colorado, apartment complex, it's a good test of people's media literacy, honestly.
And our vice presidential nominee for Donald Trump and Ohio Senator J.D. Vance just posted this old clip from the community hearing saying, months ago I raised the issue of Haitian illegal immigrants draining social services and generally causing chaos all over Springfield, Ohio.
I was racist back then, too.
Reports now show that people have had their pets abducted and eaten by people who shouldn't be in this country.
God.
Where is our border czar? And Anthony Andron at Politico just aggregated this from the Springfield newspaper in Ohio. The Springfield Police Division said Monday morning they have received no report.
Pop it up. I mean, this is the vice presidential nominee claiming that Haitian immigrants are stealing pets and eating them. And here is, this is a guy from Politico.
The congressional reporter.
The Springfield Police Division said Monday morning they have received no reports. Zero reports related to pets being stolen and zero reports. And I guarantee you this stuff is going to be all over right-wing media. All over right-wing media.
They're just doing satanic panic, but with racism, right? Where it's like, oh, these Haitian migrants are coming in and they don't respect our godly laws. Look, they're eating pets.
But can you imagine if Tim Walz made something like it? I mean, look at, this is J.D. Vance. He's the vice presidential nominee.
It's insane. It's insane.
Reports now show that people have had their pets abducted and eaten by people who shouldn't be in this country. What reports? What reports? Are you watching Crowder?
His X algorithm, which is all coincidentally, it's so curious why my X algorithm is all black people fighting each other on the street. Oh well. Anyway, here I heard about these Haitian immigrants eating pets and abducting people's pets. I mean,
it's just
reports now show that people are having their pets abducted and eaten by people who shouldn't be in the country. I just want to the original report, as you're saying, was that person who was mentally unstable ate their own cat, right? Were they going around town and abducting people's cats to eat them?
It's like just a cop showed up and she killed the cat, and I don't know that.
There's just so many lies in this one two-sentence tweet.
Let's be clear. These people, too, he's talking about, these Haitian immigrants, they are here legally. They are here legally. They're not citizens, but they're immigrants who are here legally.
And all of these reports are either, like, as you look at some of the aggregating of it, are coming from, you know, Charlie Kirk, Jack Posobiec,
of course,
Ian Miles Chong, and like, if those are the reports, that's just you saying, that's my media diet, right? Like,
well, we know. That's what this dude is. He went on that guy's show. We didn't get to it at that time, but when he made those statements about, it was one of his crazy statements about women. He was on the show of a guy that used to be a regular Tim Pool guest, who had basically said on Tim Pool's program that he thinks that 15-year-old girls are more mature than boys at that age, and that, like, it's not that big of a deal, essentially. I'm paraphrasing, but for them to be sexualized. These are the waters these guys are swimming in. It's very dark.
Fantastic moron. TYT is going all in on this Venezuelan gang story. At some point, MR will have to address the severe right-wing pivot they have and how dangerous it is to lead normie libs down the right-wing rabbit hole. Soon, Anna will endorse Trump over his strong stance of executing Venezuelan gangs, invading the Rockies, and complete her David Rubin arc. I don't know about the latter part, but the idea that some local news story that has one video of 5 Venezuelans with guns going into an apartment, when you have the same local news story showing dozens of tenants of that apartment complex saying, we don't have a problem here with Venezuelan gangs. We have a problem with a slumlord who is not doing any upkeep of these apartments. I don't know what to tell you. Somebody's on some type of mission. I don't know what it is, but maybe we'll spend a little more time like watching this stuff. I mean, they've got to account for this. It's like the idea you're a national show and you're going to talk about
every Destiny N-word has 100 times the impact of Hasanabi Twitteroid saying a white slur, so it's a war of attrition. Here they're talking about how Destiny says the N-word on Twitter, and it really ruins their image that they're trying to cultivate of being against Hassan, because they have no consistent or coherent politics beyond. Do you have a take that you used to go hard for that you no longer agree with? No. Speaking of takes that I go hard for that I am completely correct on, remember what I told you yesterday about you guys being and how I can't like react to anything Ethan related because you behave in an unhinged way, and sometimes that unhinged behavior is immediately tracked by an insanely unhinged community. I just saw this. This is insane. Okay. While Destiny's community continues to harass Hassan and his community yet over again over the recent criticisms of Ethan, here's a long thread proving yet again who this rabid audience Destiny has cultivated are. Note the screenshots of DGers spreading anti-Semitic lies about H3, like making fun of Gila, saying she's a slay queen, okay? Saying Ethan participated in sex tourism, like that. But there's one part about this. This guy says, to be honest, a Nazi is better than a terrorist, who's better than a registered sex offender, who's better than a Hassan Piker fan. But it doesn't end there. One thing I saw on this thread that is actually nutty is how many mentions of my name that is in this Discord. It is 90,000. The Destiny Discord has mentioned me 90,000 times. Now, Destiny is a video game and a streamer, and I doubt that, and a word that people use in normal conversation. And I'd be shocked. Some of Hostwood is still defending themselves in your Hostwood community. They don't give us, you said, no drama in that community. The fact that he has cultivated just an entire fan base with only one consistent position, and that position is, we want to Hassan. 8,900 times the word Destiny is used. Someone said the word Destiny comes up in Hostwood 18,000 times. And it's a word that has significantly more usage than just like, you know, the streamer. And I doubt that most of it is, you know, I'm certain that most of the times that it's been used is probably not about him, just using it in like regular conversation, like, oh, this is manifest destiny or something like that. 90,000 times, brother. 90,000 times. This is before you also look at how many times they use probably Hassan with a double S, or Hissan, or Hamasabi. I'd pay top dollar for Hassan cartel footage. Hassan, my dog. Can't wait till I'm rich so I can Hassan. Watch the video. It's a series of events. Gang Hassan. Every Destiny N-word has 100 times the impact of Hassanabi Twitteroid saying a white slur, so it's a war of attrition. Here they're talking about how Destiny says the N-word on Twitter, and it really ruins their image that they're trying to cultivate of being against Hassan, because they have no consistent or coherent politics beyond saying this guy is awful. Remember when I saw those trafficked Slavic children in Germany? Twitteroid. These are like 38-year-old people, by the way, with like jobs in. Because Hassan fans believe everything that is spoon-fed to them. Yo, can a DGG or a clip, a Hassan Piker clip for me? He said one of the most R-worded things I've heard when we were arguing, and it won't let me clip it. Like they literally are watching. They're watching right now. They're watching right now. And in their Discord, they're talking like, oh, I can't wait to clip this and post it on Reddit and brigade it. This is unimaginably pathetic, dog. It is crazy. Weird jokes they made about brigading and mass reporting. Does anyone have a link for Hassan's Discord server? Yo, I'm trying to find the Twitch guidelines that state that a streamer cannot restream another banned streamer, i.e. Hassan restreaming Destiny. Can someone link me the correct section that would have that or point me in the right direction? I'm gonna report Hassan for schizo. Thanks for reminding me. I'm gonna actually report Hassan right now. Hassan and Destiny are both the same edgelords. Yes, we should stop saying R-word. It's the same way Destiny is. I should stop saying schizo. Guys, heads up. If you brigade Hassan Discord and any of the mod team find out, you will be perma. Like, dude, this level, I'm gonna be honest with you, this level of dissension is not good, okay? It's just not good. It is really bad. I promise you it's not good for your mental health, okay? It's not. You've devoted so much of your time to something that is just an objective waste, okay? We have a finite amount of time on this earth. Why are you wasting it like this? I'll be for real. The only way forward is Destiny dropping a Hassan Manifesto nuke and end his career as early as possible. I feel bad for the misguided low IQ that actually follow his ideology, especially when it comes to this Israel-Palestine issue. Twitch isn't going to do about it for sure. Imagine being a zombie or a yuck. I'll better rot in hell than being a conscious soul that actually watches Hassan stream. I wish we could deport Hassan to Turkey. Yeah, I'm so happy we can make fun of Freunken, I mean Fatka, I mean Portkin, I mean Frobeast, I mean Hassan's mod again. And Jabba the Hutt. That J Miles guy you yelled at was a DGGer all along. I'm actually surprised. Yeah, is that surprising? Most of the time when I'm yelling at someone who is like presenting themselves as a just curious Andy, they're actually just simply coming from this rabid sociopath's unhinged ass community to come in here and present themselves as though they are making a sound argument, and they just want to simply have their mind changed only so they can slowly but surely piss me off and then clip it and then post it on Twitter. And the likes of Keemstar love that. Okay, this has been ongoing, once again, this has been ongoing for the past 5 years now. 5. It's been happening for 5 years, okay? It's sad. Get a life, please. I do wish that they could just get the access to healthcare that they desperately need and a sense of community beyond whatever this is, whatever's going on here. This is just Discord with some added Reddit posts, the community is obsessed, the Twitter group, the subreddit is all just sexism, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, and jokes about incest, young children. Obviously, this doesn't apply to every Destiny fan, but this has been going on for years, and Destiny actively encourages it. I'm posting these for 2 reasons. One, to show the hypocrisy and harassment defans have participated in, not only in Hassan's community, but his friends, and also Ethan's. They even faked screenshots of Hassan's chat, which Hassan proved were fake live on stream by pulling up the logs. Hassan actively bans anti-Semitic comments and goes out of his way to explain chatters how important it is every day. Second reason is to advise people in Hassan's community not to engage with these accounts. Do not harass them. They will try to bait you. Just block and move on. Pay them no attention. I'm also at fault for lashing out because I find the things Destiny has said disgusting. But yeah, from now on, mass blog, ignore and focus, continuing to uplift our own community. Sorry, this thread is so long and all over the place. Peace and love. It's just like team sports, like Raiders versus Steelers. It will never stop in America. It's a culture thing as old as baseball. Yeah, the issue is, I don't, like, are Raiders fans stalking Steelers fans and like monitoring their every activity and then trying to go to the local media to be like, see, this guy actually threw his trash out wrong. You should do something about it. And then celebrating it. And then we also have this too. Look. We also have this idiotic too. You have to admit, most of the mentions of Dean Hoscourt are about him. You are deluding yourself if you think Hoscourt is talking about Manifest or the game. Like, we also have either more Destiny fans who have been also 59-month subscribers, or just like unhinged weirdos themselves who have been 59-month subscribers, whose brains have been broken by trying to debate every minutia. I'm simply stating that the term Destiny has more utilization than literally just the streamer, not in the same way that the term Hassan is just my name. There's like one other Hassan, there's two other Hassans out there, Mehdi Hassan and Hassan Minhaj. I doubt that they're talking about them that much. This is most likely a double fan, which is the weirdest kind of person, literally making a very idiotic argument, like as though Destiny, the term, does not have multiple utilizations, including its own dictionary definition. Called it. No, I just see there's brain rot on both sides. You did it. You're doing it right now. You're refusing to see the argument that I've presented. You are trying to have a semantics argument on whether or not there is an actual dictionary definition for the term Destiny and could be applied outside of the streamer in an instance where there's only 8,000 mentions, okay? Approximately 5,000 of the utilization of the term Destiny in my Discord out of the 8,000 come from the gaming segment. Do you think that the gaming section in my Discord is talking about the streamer and that's what they figured out is the best way to do it? 8,000 times the word Destiny has been used in my 8,000 times the word Destiny has been used in my Discord, as opposed to 90,000 times that the word Hassan has been used in his Discord. The term Destiny literally has multiple uses regardless. It's both a video game and also on top of that is just a word in the English language. It's not just simply a name. And you still tried to do both sides. Why? One must ask the question, why did you try to do that? The numbers on the board obviously show that one side is unimaginably unhinged. Why are you doing that? Okay, you're right. I don't go on Hoscore that much. No, that's not the problem. The problem is you heard me say something, and because you're a fan of both of us, you immediately wanted to go, well, both sides have some issues. Why? Think about what happens in your mind that causes you to immediately, reflexively go, well, there's both sides that are being unhinged. 5,000 of the times that anyone has ever said Destiny in my community, it was in reference to the video game. One side is cyber stalking me and my fans and the people I collaborate with actively, as I just showed you. The other side is not a community that hyper focuses on this cretin for obvious reasons, because guess what? For the past 5 years, I myself have not been hyper focusing on this person. And the only time I ever talked about it, straight up, the only time I ever talked about it was when he just completely went unhinged after presenting himself as a liberal or even a leftist or a progressive, and then actively made pro arguments. If you check his Twitter community, there's multiple mentions every day. They're literally obsessed. And there's one dude who literally spends all day, every day, just watching your stream and clipping what he thinks is cancelable and posting it in his Twitter community. Someone in your Twitter community posted that the user is that one pokey stalker you talked about on your stream that's been harassing you since 2019. Yeah, they're crazy. Anyway, like I said, just don't reflexively try to do the both sides, okay? Because there is no both sides in this. There's no both sides in the situation unless you're a dupe or a sucker. How come you don't address this happening in your Discord? I know this is a real problem. The other part of this is my community is much larger. That's the other craziness here. And despite the fact that I have a much larger community, the mentions are still so minimal. That's what's crazy about it. Yeah, it's 30x to 1x. Said, bro, I've been here since 2021. I've never even knew who really D was until Israel Palestine. Yes, because I actively did not talk about it. Truly unhinged. How much longer till Ethan Gila divorce arc? Yeah, he's done a great job with crowd capture of the H3H3 crowd. Ethan seems okay with whatever Hassan does, so I don't think it will end until Hassan wants. H3H3 subreddit is basically Hassan, and Hassan has his own popping Discord. Yes, they both help each other out, but Ethan's platform H3H3 is being taken advantage of by Hassan like Hassan took advantage of Destiny's platform. They also obviously made a ton of jokes about Cutie and why isn't Hassan ugly yet? What the fuck is actually wrong with Hassan? We make a bunch of paper targets with Hassan printed on them. Hassan Piker range targets. I have touched my penis to Cutie Cinderella deepfakes. Would you watch fake porn of Cutie Cinderella? Like bad people in general, okay? And I don't think they started off as bad people, okay? I don't think they started off as disgusting little monsters. But this is what happens when you join a community of people that consider this to be edgy, okay? Consider this to be cool and consider this to be fun. It is straight out of 4chan poll. When a portion of your community is Kiwi Farm cyber stalkers and there's zero effort to moderate it, people end up emulating that behavior. It's not just that it's Kiwi Farms and cyber stalkers. It's not that there's no effort to moderate this community. It's encouraged, okay? That's what it is. It's encouraged. That's it. It's monkey see, monkey do. If it's encouraged and reposted by the content creator, then of course a lot of people are going to be like, well, I want him to notice me. I love this person. I watch him all the time, right? So they turn around and do this kind of unhinged in an effort to get this support. I was shocked after you raided Jason before the collab. I saw so many of your haters spamming your emails and saying Hamas raid, Nepo raid, etc. It was so sad. Anyway, let's move on. I kind of want to watch Mara and Winkler, the Fawns, debate Israel. Why did you lose anyway? Why did you have to hate farm? You don't understand. What do you mean? I'm a fairly popular figure with politics that is considered completely outside of like what is permissible in American political discourse normally. It's a great target to try and pick apart every single day. It's also a ton of resentment. I've always had haters. Guys, I've gotten death threats when I had 30 people watching me on Twitch, okay? Because I was on the Young Turks. And when I was on the Young Turks, I was getting death threats all day, every day. Even I was getting doxxed and getting death threats with like 4chan posts about how to be and how to literally feed my dogs like a little bit of salami if they were to ever raid my house, my apartment, okay? I remember seeing that when I was broke as, even before I was on Twitch. Like it hasn't stopped. This is just the unfortunate reality. This is just the unfortunate reality of just having to deal with like the online right. And anyone and everyone that has ever dealt with the online right knows this to be the reality. It's just something that you have to deal with on a daily fucking basis. Yes, there are posts from 4chan and all these other like older forums way back in like 2016, okay, before I was even on Twitch, fantasizing about how like you could do a home invasion with my address, with my apartment address, and talking about how in order to take care of my dogs, you should bring like, you know, some meat with you so you can just like toss the meat to the dog to, you know, have the dog pay attention to the meat itself while you shooting me in bed. The thing is, that's been happening for a very long time. You know what I mean? That's been happening for a very long time. Problem is, I've always had unhinged haters. I've just never had someone who presents themselves as like somewhat progressive, right? Capture an audience with a lot of those unhinged haters from every different background. I talk about a ton of issues. If you are really invested in being like anti-abortion and you see my commentary on abortion, you hate me. Then you look for a community that hates me. If you're a Nazi and you hear me talk about fascism and see that I'm an anti-fascist, you hate me and you look for a community that also hates me. If you are, I don't know, pro-Kyle Rittenhouse, and you see me be anti-Kyle Rittenhouse and you hate me, and then you look for a community that anti-trans, and I'm obviously openly pro-trans, and you hate me, and you look for a community that hates me. That's why I'm saying, like, a lot of stuff online can be brigaded. It's far from what is normal, what like normal people's attitudes and opinions are. So don't be dissuaded by this kind of, okay? Don't be dissuaded by this kind of, it's completely ridiculous, and it's not like what normal people are in the real world. It's mostly a marker of someone who's extremely online. But because things are very easy to brigade online, it will, and because of, despite the size of this community, right? Despite the size of this community, not this my community, but the size of the psycho community that we were just talking about, they can make it seem like, you know, there's a lot more hatred out there. If they desperately look for any mention of me or my fans, sometimes they randomly will voluntarily bring me up when something else is happening, right? It's just, you know, you basically try to do the most of what you have with your limited resources. But when I say I really hope that these guys get better, I mean it. It's self-serving, sure. It's self-serving because if they do get better, they get help.
My games
or if they get a sense of, if they get a sense of like community elsewhere,
Mind control
I think
via
that,
poorly
like,
constructed
dude,
compound words.
Isn't this like
Random question. Do you think I could sell 1 million records if I just convinced everybody that they were Andy-phobic if they didn't buy my record? Brilliant. Look at all these Andy-phobic people out here. How dare they not buy my album? Imagine if Olive Garden started a campaign to say that
does he actually make music? Chat, can someone yeah, also I am Andy. No, because that doesn't make fucking sense. He said his joke at the bottom was anti-Semitic. That means you would be Semitic, you dipshit.
if you didn't eat there once a week, you're Italio-phobic. If I don't like country music, am I country-phobic? If I don't like America.
Because Olive Garden is the same as an entire group of people that have been marginalized, pushed to the edges of society, beaten and oppressed for a very long time. Why don't you, buddy, why don't you be, again, more actually genuine with the comparisons you should be making to another minority group? Say the same thing about Jews, religious or ethnic. Say the same thing about Muslims. I'm willing to bet that you would take it very offensively if somebody said the same thing about Christians. Right? Much to think about. Much to think about.
Am I America-phobic? It's an absolutely insane concept to disparage people and try to make people feel guilty for not buying whatever bullshit you happen to be selling today. So, insert word here, aphobia is clever wordplay used by a dominant group to make themselves seem to...
A dominant group. It's... We love rainbow capitalism and its effects on people who hate gay people, don't we, folks? We love that people look at rainbow capitalism's empty shilling for a culture it doesn't understand and wants to appropriate, for the sweet dollar bills. And we love that it is convinced an entire component of the American right that gay people suddenly rule the world. So good.
Be more oppressed than they really are. And I think you have to give it to Christians. Despite there being 2 billion of them regularly experiencing persecution, murder, and being butchered around the globe,
First off, is he arguing, seriously arguing, that Christians don't talk about being persecuted? My fucking dude, I sat in a theater this weekend and watched God's Not Dead 5. I have to hold my ear and get louder. God's Not Dead 5. The 5th movie in a series exclusively focusing on how all Christians are upstanding, just servitors of moral virtue that are constantly undermined by evil atheists who just hate God. God's Not Dead 5. Dude, There are entire film series based around Christian self-persecution complex. Let me tell you about a little movie called Disciples in the Moonlight, bucko. You're gonna fucking tell me that Christians just like, oh yeah, no, they just take it on the chin. Bro.
Not once have I seen Christians accuse anyone of Christophobia. But my only point here is that
This is what happens. This is what happens when you literally just live in an echo chamber. When you don't understand anything about groups and how they relate to one another. My God.
sometimes dominant groups will call their enemies blank-ophobic as a psyop to make them seem oppressed when they're really the
satanic cult does this every year. Oh yeah, we're in good territory here. Let's go. Satanic cult. Satanic gay cult. Let's go. Let's go. Whoo.
Oppressor, like the LGBTQ community. According to white liberals everywhere, you're a hateful bigot because you don't want your kids to have to stare at naked men exposing themselves on the streets of Portland.
If I did not want to see people at a pride parade, I would simply not go to the pride parade. In a city where public nudity is legalized. There are ways to solve these problems. They're fairly simple. Like, oh God, why would you eat a Big Mac? Like, why would you go and, like, you could simply not get a Big Mac. These are very simple first world problems to have, my bro. Sean EP, thank you very much for 50. This is for more tickets to the Pain Train. I have unlimited Pain Train tickets. The Pain Train never ends.
Portland. Oh, and I confirmed on Snopes whether this actually happened or not. It 100% did, but suspiciously, somehow all of the photos and video evidence of it has been scrubbed from the internet by either the federal government, by black.
Dog. This dude is fucking far gone. Holy shit. Whoa. Another motherfucker, 156,000. This is the type of shit that YouTube just doesn't seem to fucking care about.
Or whoever. So right off the bat here, at a conceptual level, I just want to talk about how absolutely insane it is to use a word to disparage somebody for not liking something that just comes down to taste. I will never...
Dude. Just comes down to taste. Okay. He is trying to frame this. His argument here is essentially that because he's not gay, the fact that he says, hey, I'm not gay, people will be like, you bigot. No. Nobody cares. That has never fucking happened once in your life. Like, nobody has ever said that to you. Because you are not gay, that you have to like gay things. I guarantee it, you were just fucking making this shit up. Devontae, thank you for $2. You can make a hit piece on Andy next. No. Hammock, thank you for €5. House Dono, Cosburr, thank you so much, Hammock. A hit piece. Yeah, no, Window, you got it right. Ain't a hit piece if it's all the truth. Like, I don't think it's really a hit piece if it's just his words. Like, that's kind of, I'll do a case study. Like, I'll call it a case study. Documentary's a little bit heavy. Like, I just call it, like, it's the same one with my Mount Walsh video. Oh. Oh, sorry, one of my partners popped by. We're gonna go grab some food in a little bit. New fall. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing pretty good. Can't complain too much. All the phobias and antis. Oh no, this guy definitely fetishizes lesbians. Definitely. Speaking of. Yeah, Nelson JD, actually a really good point. Call it a hunch, but I don't think they're going to put uncensored nudity on sites that rely on advertisement because that's a good way to lose their advertisers. Also, honestly, with the amount of harassment that queer people get, I wouldn't be surprised if like lawyers had to contact them to be like, hey, I'm getting a lot of death threats over this. Can you fucking take it down? Synthetic Man mogs me. He gets more viewers than me. Devontae. Okay. Like I have better viewers than he does. My viewers have raised $10,000 for charity. What the fuck has his viewers ever done? My viewers try and help people. My viewers like educating themselves. My viewers like things like stats and statistics. Synthetic Man just says some shit and his viewers are like, yeah, totally, dude. Yeah, it's BlackRock. It's the Jews, man. I'm fucking okay. Trust me. I'm okay if I don't get the views that Synthetic Man does. Like straight up. Synthetic Man viewers fucking hate him, dude. Like go watch the video. Go watch what his fucking fans say about him. They think he is an autistic, drunk, loser incel. Like they think he is a Fuda-loving, fucking lolly-loving doomer, gooner piece of shit. They fucking hate him. Zeo Prism, thank you very much for following. Things I don't
like lotion.
Oh, that's what everybody's
like
talking about. Everybody's been talking about the lotion and asparagus being forced to. Honestly, Andy Pants, one of these things is not like the other.
Yes, and I will never like being forced to watch two dudes make out. To call people like me, quote, homophobic for that is just going to cause us to embrace the term more and more, which is actually what is happening to giga-chads around the world right now.
Nothing fucking funnier to me than a dude who won't show his face on camera calling himself a gigachad and putting this up. The gall. The fucking project. If he projected anymore, he'd be a fucking theater. God damn.
Now, when I see somebody calling somebody homophobic now, I just think, okay, so that dude's normal. Zooming out for a minute, though, I want us to etymologically analyze this word and see how it falls apart. Homo is the Latin word for human. Phobos in Greek mythology was the twin brother of Deimos and was the...
Here's another funny thing I find is that whenever they try, like, these alt-right kind of dipshits try and get smart about their video editing skills, because they don't watch any videos that actually like put work into editing or educating their audience. So they've never watched like a leftist video showing great folks. So they don't know how much ground they're just like recovering. Like stylistically, they think they're really doing something here, when it's just like, this is the most tired shit possible. Devontae, my super chats are not to be used in other videos. I have emotional stress now because of Dead Domains video. Devontae, I don't know what to tell you, except for the fact that consider for a moment the difference between how Synthetic Man treated me in his chat and how I'm treating you here. Well, I am not saying you should be banned. I am not saying, oh, you need to get out of here. I'm not challenging you to a debate, which I was like, yeah, Synth, let's do it. And then he banned me himself, by the way, because he was so fucking pressed. Think for a moment about the person that you're actually advocating for that you decided to come into my chat and talk about. When like, I've left him alone. Right? I still get people giving me death. Like just today, I had somebody give me a death threat in my fucking comment section over that video. And I'm still leaving him alone because I'm moving on with my life, which just judging by the fact that you're here, and I think maybe one or two other people might have said some shit, you might assume he hasn't moved on. So, No, go. If you are so into this beef, go tell Synth. Yeah, I will debate him literally any fucking time. I will. Unlike Synthetic Man, like this should really tell you everything you need to know. With all the estrogen in my body, I am still fucking more man than Synthetic ever will be. That's just the truth. Devontae, I'm gonna make my own YouTube channel and destroy your arguments, Lamo. Devontae, I beg you. I beg you. Please. Be the MGK to my M. Devontae. Will you please be the Ja to my 50? Will you be the Drake to my Kendrick, Devontae? Please disprove my arguments using whatever facts you can find. I will gladly wait. My inbox is open for your first video. Can't wait to see it, dude. Can't wait.
Greek god of fear or terror. So homophobic literally means hatred of humans. This obviously...
Oh, Blet Pleb doesn't know. Devontae's chatter on YouTube, I guess.
Isn't the meaning they intended, so it's closer to being a compound word of homosexual and phobic. So according to them, the word they invented, homophobic, literally means fear of homosexuals. But is that what is actually going on here? I've never met a single person who was afraid of homosexuals. I mean, no offense, guys, but who was afraid of fabulous clothes and friendly...
Again, very funny that this is how they typecast homosexuals. Some of these, like, scariest looking, they're actually really nice people, but, like, strongest, fittest people I've known have been gay men. Like, find a general biker bar, you will find a bear that can crush the average person like a fucking pop can. This weird idea, first, again, it shows just how, I guess, insulated is probably the right word. Their worldview is and how little actual experience they have with the world that they think the crew of Huron is like what every gay man is like. Like, dude, what did you fucking get your opinion on homophobia from Will and Grace? Like, what the fuck? Also, yeah, this PowerPoint presentation bullshit, I don't think he's done anything that can actually be called a video. Like, this is just a PowerPoint presentation. Doggo. Yeah, no, all gay men, queer Molly, all gay men aren't twinks. And it's a crime. It's a crime on us all, I say.
Gay men. So there's no actual fear of gay people going on. I think what is actually going on is this. They need a word to call people who, on moral grounds, have disagreed with their lifestyle for thousands of years and, frankly, have a lot more of a solid foundation for their beliefs. Christianity.
This is a fascinating thing I've noticed, is this, like, right-wing reactionary bent that they aren't explicitly Christian. Like, they seems like kind of atheist. Like, because he's not talking about Christianity as something he's he's talking about Christianity as something that is, like, isolated from him, that is this kind of abstract concept and group of people. And it's clear he doesn't, like, know much about it, but it's this weird space where they, like, still want to defend it. This is so strange.
Christianity has taught for 2,000 years and still teaches to this day that homosexuality is wrong. Islam has taught for 1,400 years and still teaches to this day that homosexuality is wrong. Most of the continent of Africa consider homosexuality a crime. Most of the Middle East considers homosexuality a crime. Only in the West, within the past 50 years or so, has the religious cult of the LGBT.
Couple of notes here. Just a couple of notes. At the beginning, you said that gay people have always been accepted, but now you're saying it's only been in the last 50 years and only in the West. So it's a little bit. I guess every religion for 10,000 years was wrong, but these guys are right though. I bet you should, if you don't think that gay people have existed the whole time, if you think it's just now, again, just like open a history book. Throw a stone in medieval Europe, you're gonna find some gay fucking king or prince. Like, I promise you. Also, do you want to talk about everything else religion did for like 10,000 years? They weren't responsible for a whole lot of good shit. Like, noticeable. We just talked earlier about Irish and Catholics fighting. Like, essentially race riots based on race between the Irish immigrants and the Protestants. But, like, the one underlying constant in religion since the beginning of time that is constantly victimizing communities and consolidate power for a lot of people. The argument you're making here, not great. Devontae has super chatted $2. Andy is right. 30 years ago, gay wasn't as popular. You know, Devontae, it's funny you would say that. It's actually very interesting you would say that. Because at the beginning of the video, if you will direct your attention to the screen, please. He said, in his words, since the 80s, gay people have been fully accepted by society. So my question to you, I guess, is which is it? Because you can't have it both ways. You can't have it 30 years ago, gay people weren't accepted. And also, since the 80s, they've been fully accepted by society. It kind of has to be one or the other. Unless, and here's what he's really doing, Devontae. I'm gonna let you in on a little secret of what this guy is doing in his grift so that you're better able to recognize when other people you follow do a similar thing. He is changing goalposts to suit his argument better, right? Because it's easier for him to say at the beginning, when he's talking about how he's not homophobic and nobody's actually homophobic, it's easier for him to say, oh, the gay people, like, they don't have anything to worry about. They've been accepted since the 80s. They've been fully accepted by society. It's easy for him to say that there, because that will confirm the point he's making at the time, right? But if you move a little bit further down the line, he's talking about how the behavior was right. Then it's easier for him to shift the goalposts to say, well, you know, everything is bad today, and then if you think about it, it's because being gay wasn't acceptable 30 years ago. But those two arguments can't really coexist. He has to specifically work around the other points he's trying to make because he has no fucking cohesive point to stand on. Thank you, Devontae, for continuing to give me money. Devontae super chatted $2, but the LGBT didn't exist back then like today. Devontae, come here. You know what? I'm gonna do 1970. Okay. Pride in the 1970s. What was the gay movement in 1970? Christopher Street Liberation Day, the march is now considered the country's first gay pride parade. In 1970, City of Seattle, a decade of the 1970s, gay rights issues repeatedly found their way onto the municipal agenda. Milestones in the gay rights movement. Ooh, this will be perfect. There are gay parades. There are people scantily clad. November 11, 1950. Harry Hay founds America's first sustained national gay rights organization. In an attempt to change public perception of homosexuality, the Mattachine Society aimed to eliminate discrimination, derision, prejudice, and bigotry, to assimilate homosexuals into mainstream society and cultivate the notion of an ethical homosexual culture. majority of my school is gay. It wasn't like that before. When you say a majority of your school is gay, do you mean a majority of your school are homosexual, or gay or lesbian? Or a majority of your school, which, by the way, the fact that you are still in school, I'm assuming a high schooler, tells me a lot about how much life you still have left to live, how little experience you have with the world around you. Which isn't to completely deride what you're saying, because I know that you have your life experiences, right? But believe me when I tell you, those are just a small fraction of the experiences you are going to have for the rest of your life, right? They teach us about being gay. That's why there's more. First off, Mia W., thank you very much for $5. A short handful of old-timey gays, King James VI, and first King Frederick II of Prussia, Eleanor Roosevelt, big time, Chopin, Alexander the Great is a big one, Caesar, etc. Okay, here's the thing, Devontae, do they teach you about being gay, or do they teach you that some people are gay and that's okay? Do they teach you to be gay, or do they teach people that, hey, if you have this inclination, if you find yourself attracted to other people, to people who are different, that's okay, and you don't need to be harassed or bullied over it? Because Devontae, let me tell you about my high school experience growing up in the mid-2000s. And I'll be pretty frank with you here. As a certified gay, the term faggot was commonly used. Commonly. Any kind of deviation of gender norms, doesn't matter if it was eyeliner, doesn't matter if your hair was even a little bit too straight, doesn't matter if you were a guy with long hair, would get you harassed and bullied. And it wasn't fun. As somebody, I wasn't always this queer, Devontae. And I regret that I had to spend so long, so much of my adult life unpacking who I was and who I wanted to be, because I had spent more than a decade in a system that anytime anybody would step out of line would push them back into it. So unless you're telling me that you literally have classes that are teaching you how to be gay, that have tests on how you can be as homosexual as possible, that you are taking tips on the latest fall fashion lines and how to properly coordinate outfits, unless you are telling me that that level of gay culture has permeated your educational system, I honestly do not care if they are telling you that, hey, it's okay to be gay. I don't. If it means that other people can grow up without having to deal with the shit I had to deal with, me and so many other queer people, I don't care. Because you know what? That means that those people, if they are able to discover that about themselves, the sooner they will be able to be happy with their lives and find people who will appreciate them for who they are. And we only have so much fucking time here to begin with. And nobody should have to spend it waiting around for the world to accept them. Thank you, Kennedy Nikchakwu. Thank you, Jackie Sins, for $2. Devontae, as always, and I'll say this to anybody, if you actually want to have a rational, reasonable conversation, let me tell you, this is not the forum for it. My email address is on my business email is on my YouTube bio. If you actually want to talk, I'm always reachable by email. That being said, Well, Earl Grey, I don't believe that. I don't like to. Steve, being gay is one thing, but it's weird as hell. My college has tampon dispensers in the men's room. No, it's not. I don't care. It's not for you, Steve. Steve, let me ask you a question. If you go to Starbucks, I don't know if you go to Starbucks. If you go to a coffee shop, it doesn't matter. I bet you have an order you like, right? Like you have a thing that you gravitate towards, whether it's a smoothie or whatever. Now, if somebody orders a black coffee, or they have black coffee, like pure black coffee sitting behind the counter, that's not for you. You know that's not for you. You know that when you see that, you go, black coffee. That's not for me. Doesn't agree with me. Upsets my tummy. Doesn't matter. Whatever you think, whatever your reasoning is. You're like, please, one mango strawberry smoothie. And then another person comes up and they're like, I would have a black coffee. Because the black coffee is for the people who want black coffee. It's for the people who drink black coffee. That should be your same thought process with tampons in a men's restroom. Don't worry about it. I don't care. There are so many things in the world that people take so much time to give a fuck about. Why? Do you truly not have anything better to care about than there are tampons in the men's bathroom? There is one day, I know incel 4chan types like to say that every trans man looks alike. Let me tell you, they don't. That you always like to use early in their transition pictures of trans men. Dude, give them 4 or 5 years, you will not be able to tell. One day, you might go in there and a dude who is completely unrecognizable as trans will use it. So what? Who cares? Who gives a shit? Like, if you do, all I can do is advise you, like, seriously, find something better to care about. Like, if you seriously look at that and you're like, oh, this is degrading Western society and this is the crumbling of our American Christian values, I don't know what else to tell you other than you've been duped. Probably by people who are actually doing those things. Probably by people who are profiting